what they should do, which is completely dominate an inferior team. I'm not even sure it was varsity versus junior varsity. And the Jazz get great balance, totally dominate, execute perfectly, end the game in the first 2 minutes, and the league rules say we had to play another 46, so we did. So let's talk about it coming up on POSTCAST. POSTCAST is brought to you by our friends at grip6.com. I am not wearing my Grip 6 belt because I was running late, and I actually forgot to wear a belt today. That's the only reason, not because I traded a different belt. I'm just not wearing my Grip 6 today. Grip6.com for the best belts in the market, a Utah company. Brought to you by grip6.com. Promo code LOCKED gets you 15% off. Also brought to you by our friends at Biograss. Biograss, the big yellow bag.com. Hey, look, there's Ron Boone. That's the great Ron Boone. We're masked up, divided, can't do the show together anymore. We're fully vaxxed broadcast, though. Like, we should be able to do the show together as a fully vaccinated broadcast, Ron. I think we might have to bring you back to POSTCAST. The pay might be the same if I actually talk to the people at the store and see if they could actually help us out. All right, let's get the questions going. We are live on 4 different formats. We are live on Facebook. We are live on Twitter. We are live on Twitch, and we are live on YouTube. It's glad to have you with us as the Jazz blow out the Houston Rockets. We were fairly jovial on the broadcast tonight and spent way too much time talking about the Canadian Elite Basketball League, where we bought merchandise from. I'm wearing a Locked On hat is what I'm wearing. As the first question of the day from Austin. My takeaway today is just the Jazz did what they're supposed to do. They're playing an inferior team that ranks 26 in the league defensively, and they crushed them. And, without Donovan, we're playing bad defensive teams here for a little while, playing the 28th ranked Timberwolves and the 30th ranked Kings, and we're going to have to do what we need to do because of the fact that the Jazz absolutely have to keep winning because the Rockets are not the Suns are not losing. The Suns went and took advantage of no Ben Simmons in Philadelphia today, same way as we took away advantage of no Joel Embiid earlier this year and got it done. So absolutely, tip your hat to Phoenix right now. They are just executing, putting it all out, doing what they need to do, and we had to match it tonight. We did 112-89. Great ball movement, early offense threes, great look threes from the Jazz. Really, the biggest thing was the early offense that the Jazz had today as they pushed it ahead. If we're really getting serious for a second, an analysis on the offensive side of things, the Jazz pushed it ahead early. They got those early looks. They got transition threes. The Jazz lead the league in the most threes taken in the first 6 seconds of the shot clock, and the second league in the most in the 9, and they did that. Rudy Gobert and Mike Conley at one point tonight were plus 47. The Jazz were completely dominant. Mike Conley finished at plus 46. Rudy Gobert finished at plus 44. I would say, a little bit of disturbing is that in 14 minutes against an inferior opponent, Derek Favors and the Jazz were minus 14 when he was on the floor in that group. We've got to find a way to be able to defend when Rudy Gobert's off the floor. We're right now in the 37th percentile of all defenses when Rudy's off the floor. That's not going to get it done in the playoffs. Great question, but I love these questions, and thank you so much for being willing to ask. What does plus 47 means? When the Jazz, Mike Conley was on the floor tonight, the Jazz were plus 47 points over the Rockets. They outscored the Rockets by 47 points when it was plus 44 the other way. So I think that's when you see that, that's what that number means today. But super balanced today by the Jazz in this one as they end up with 21 from Ingles, 22 from Clarkson, 19 from Gobert, 14 from Bogdanovich, 13 from Niang as the Jazz were able to, do what they needed to do. They took 46 three-pointers. They made 17. Only guys who didn't make a three tonight were O'Neal, Gobert, and Favors that are in the regular rotation. Oni played 16 minutes, didn't get one. They had 61 rebounds to the Rockets 50. I mean, this was really a tremendous mismatch of talent in this game tonight. The Rockets have Christian Wood, who's an NBA talent. John Wall, I don't even know what he really is anymore. You can see his mind still works and his Shot still wants to work, but his legs just aren't the same. Even when he puts the accelerator down and comes at you, it's not the same. Other than that, Kelly Olynyk's a rotation player in the NBA, but the Rockets are just thin. That's why they've lost 34 of their last 38. So the Jazz did exactly what they needed to do and completely dominated the ball game. 112-89 is the final. I don't have any really major takeaways, just this. Against bad defensive teams with Mike Conley and Joe Ingles running the pick and roll, we're going to be fine. Conley had 13 assists. Joe had 4. Joe's shooting is just ridiculous. 6 of 10 from 3. He's now taken, in the last 7 games, he's taken about 73-point shots, and he's, I think, about made 35. In fact, let's do the math together here for a second. Joe Ingles, in the last 7 games, has now taken, David's going to do some math on the air, and that's always really exciting. It's almost as fun as watching America's Cup. The Jazz, Joe Ingles has taken 64 threes in his last 7 games. The first game, he went 2 of 8. Since then, he has been on fire. And tonight, he went 6 of 10. So he has made 30 of those threes in that time period, shooting about 47% while taking about 9 a game. It's just astronomical. And the impact on that game, as we've been talking about a lot on Locked On Jazz, is just tremendous. And then the final one is the Jazz. When Rudy's on the floor defensively, I can't imagine what the final numbers are going to come in today on that. The Rockets' offensive rating for the night was an 88. It could have been in the 70s when Rudy Gobert was on the floor tonight. That's a Ron Boone. The Rockets' overall defensive rating tonight, offensive rating, was an 88. They felt like they scored every time Gobert was on the bench. Like, there's a chance the Rockets' offensive rating tonight with Rudy on the floor was in the 70s for the game. No, they're not very good, and Rudy's great. That's what Ron has to say. All right, let's go to it. Andy says, dominating win. Suns aren't playing around. Embiid almost tied it with a miracle 3-quarter court shot. I've heard that. I've not seen it. It seems the offense flows better without Donovan. Donovan sometimes brings the ball up slower. The second part is true. Donovan will bring the ball up slower, set up his own play. Let's not get too carried away of evaluating how we look when we play the 26th ranked defense, the 28th ranked defense, and the 30th ranked defense. That's what we're doing in this next stretch of games. But our best pick and roll combinations are Conley and Ingles. So we have options. It's what makes this team great. And then when we need to go guys to go get a bucket, we have Clarkson and Donovan. And this is why the Jazz are as good as they are. It's also why they're a different team than that Atlanta Hawks team who didn't have these level of one-on-one players. Steve Warren says, thanks. I can't imagine thinking about basketball without your numbers. I hope Ron Boone heard that. Can't imagine thinking about the basketball without all your, wow. Joe Ingles, 6 on 10 on threes. He is just incredible. Derek says, nice win. Everyone contributes. Great team effort. Yes, that is true. Do you see Ersan taking more of Favors' minutes? No, I do not. But I think we've learned it's a possible option. And really, if we can't defend with Derek at the 5, we'll have to. But I actually just see Rudy taking more of Derek's minutes in the playoffs and going to 40 or 42 minutes a night. So that would be my thought. And Austin wanted to know what hat I was wearing. All right, that is POSTCAST. Locked On Jazz, back with you. Sorry I missed today. We'll be back with you tomorrow. A lot of fun. Thanks very much for tuning in. And the final note, this was the most exciting part of the game. Jack says, love seeing Donovan's tweets throughout the game. Yeah, that was the most exciting part of the game, was Donovan